Hello and welcome. This is the Midday News. Thanks for joining us. Octadi Mining has signed 3 major road contracts worth over 390 million kina to boost road connectivity in Western Province. The projects include the 150-kilometer Kiunga Nomad Road, Balimo Kawiyapo Wasu Road, and Balimo Town Road. OTML Chief Executive Officer Kedi Limbit said these roads are vital for linking remote communities to essential goods and services. Leaders including Governor Thabo Yoto and MPs from North, Middle and Delta Fly thanked OTML and the national government, calling it a long-awaited dream come true. Work begins in September, led by China Railway Construction Engineering Group. Prime Minister James Maripe's tribute to the partnership between Papua New Guinea and the United States underscores the significance of bilateral relations in promoting shared values and development goals. During the reception held by the U.S. Embassy in Port Moresby to celebrate the 249th anniversary of American independence, Maripe acknowledged the contributions of the U.S. in fostering democracy, Christian principles and free market ideals around the world.
Expressing his warm congratulations to President Donald Trump and the American people, PNG's Prime Minister James Maripe emphasized the importance of cooperation between the two nations. He said this partnership has been pivotal in addressing mutual concerns, enhancing security, and fostering economic opportunities that benefit both countries. Prime Minister Maripe further articulated how Papua New Guinea values its relationship with the U.S., particularly in light of global challenges and regional dynamics. Maripe's remarks reflect a commitment to continuing and strengthening this partnership as he seeks to leverage U.S. support for Papua New Guinea's growth and development while reinforcing the importance of democratic values in the region. The Prime Minister's engagement with U.S. leadership signifies a strategic approach to international diplomacy, highlighting the benefits of collaboration in addressing shared challenges and advancing common objectives. Kamela Gware, TVWAN News.
East New Britain has officially signed on as the newest provincial entrant in the Miss Bed of Paradise PNG pageant. A memorandum of agreement was signed on Thursday, July 17, 2025, marking the 5th provincial pageant to join this year. Led by Chairperson Joachim Lolok, the East New Britain team includes Deputy Chair Elizabeth Wong, Secretary Veronica Lako, and Treasurer Michaeline Marum, a 2024 MBOP contestant. The MBOP National Chairperson Anna Baez said bringing together all 22 provinces to crown a national queen has always been part of the MBOP strategy. The national pageant takes place this December. A coffee freight surety scheme was launched on Saturday, 19 July. The effort is a flagship program of the Coffee Industry Corporation following a recent 4 million kina funding support from the national government. The small but significant occasion was witnessed by partners from the shipping agencies, third-level airlines, farmers, and representatives from both the CIC and Coffee Ministry at the New Guinea Aviation Services hangar in Mount Hagen. The funding support will include payments to third-level airlines for dedicated coffee flights, payments to shipping operations for coastal and island transportation, fuel subsidies, operational support, and freighter maintenance incentives.
We got, so we paid out 2.1 million now. Another 1.9 million is.
Turning abroad, there's a direct link between your postcode and your life expectancy. Recent data shows those in very remote parts of Queensland are more likely to die 6 years earlier than their urban counterparts. Part of the problem is access to good quality healthcare, and doctors warn the situation is worsening.
It's never a quick trip to town for Kathy and Kerry MacDonald.
You can't walk down the street without seeing somebody you know or feeling in a familiar environment.
They've called Longreach home for most of their lives, but since Kerry developed a heart condition, they've been forced to regularly travel from the outback to Brisbane, 1,200 kilometres away, to see specialists. The 80-year-old was offered a spot in a 3-year medical trial in the capital, but turned it down.
We agonised over it, we'd have to leave and virtually start another life.
Advocacy groups say too many older Queenslanders are forced to choose between their home and their health.
People are having to move away to access health services and other supports. That has a whole, grief, loss, trauma associated with that.
The divide is deepening between country and city life. Rural doctors warn cost of living and housing pressures have exacerbated the problem, with more people moving to the regions, putting further pressure on existing services.
Some of our rural and remote communities are waiting 5 to 6 weeks before they can even see their general practitioner.
The stark reality is the further from the city someone lives, the earlier they could die. The most recent data from Queensland Health shows the median age of death in very remote parts of the state was 75 years old compared to 81 in major cities. And those in the most disadvantaged areas die on average 3 years earlier than those in high socio-economic areas. Coronary heart disease remains the leading cause of death, and it's largely preventable.
We are actually seeing people presenting a lot later in disease progression, and therefore their outcomes are nowhere near as good as if we'd picked it up earlier.
Advocacy groups want a bigger investment in health from both the state and federal governments.
It shouldn't matter what your postcode is. Every Queenslander and every Australian, for that matter, deserves to have the same sort of access to good quality healthcare.
The MacDonalds plan to stay in their beloved postcode for as long as possible. Despite the tyranny of distance, they feel they're among the lucky ones.
We have doctors that look after us very well. If we need specialist treatment, well, we're sent away. We feel that we don't miss out too much.
As the United States retreats from funding aid programs in Southeast Asia, China is expected to fill some of the gaps. The Lowy Institute Southeast Asia aid map shows some of the region's poorest nations will suffer from slashed development budgets, including Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, and Timor-Leste, will suffer due to $1 billion US dollars, or more than 248 billion kina worth of aid cuts from the US. Due to a delay in the public release of data, Lowy's report focused on the situation in 2023, since when major geopolitical shifts occurred, and not least due to the return of Trump to the White House. After returning to office in early 2025, Trump moved to abolish the U.S. AID, which had previously provided over 40% of humanitarian funding worldwide. Archaeologists have been trying to study an underwater frontier of submerged heritage sites and artifacts of Western Australia's coast. They date back 65,000 years, when sea levels were lower and the continent was bigger. Landline's Charlie McLean looks at new technology that's bolstering an area of archaeology that's still in its infancy.
At the edge of an ancient landscape, these waters have secrets in their depths. This crew is headed offshore. Their search is taking them below the waves.
We're going to recover stuff with a GPS and take photographs that will help log our position.
If you told me I'd be doing this work 2 years ago, I would have laughed in your face.
65,000 years ago, this seabed would have been part of the Australian landmass. It was drowned at the end of the last ice age, with global sea levels rising as glaciers melted. But remnants of ancient human civilization are still here, and they're being recorded for the first time. Since 2019, Dr. John McCarthy has been leading the search.
There's only ever been 2 submerged subtidal Aboriginal archaeological sites mapped in Australia. Those were found by our team here.
The traditional custodians of the peninsula call it Morajuga. So far, its surrounding waters have yielded a trove of stone tools dating back around 7,000 years.
So not for scraping, might be for cutting. And because it's this material, I'd say it'd be skinning.
Oh, yeah.
Cutting the skin off a hide or something, you know.
Vince Adams is an Injibandi man, one of 5 language groups with connections to Morajuga, and one of several local knowledge holders who help classify each tool.
We've been practicing for years on land, this culture. Now it's underwater.
This year, the project set another first. Never before have local Indigenous rangers done this kind of survey work.
I spent the last year and a bit sort of training underwater. First start off with pool dives, and it's a big jump up to actually get out in the water.
Swimming beside the divers is a remote-operated vehicle, or ROV.
It's basically a drone that goes underwater. It's on a tether, so it's on a reel, and can go hundreds of meters distant and deep.
It's one of several pieces of gear helping survey areas the divers can't.
A lot of what we do in our university is we explore emerging and cutting-edge technologies, things like bathymetric LiDAR, lasers from planes, things like photogrammetry for 3D mapping of sites. We're using large orthomosaics of the seabed to try and map out stone tools.
The researchers hope that mapping these sites will be the key to protecting them. The Morajuga coast intersects with the Carnarvon Basin, home to the country's largest gas reserves. And Mr. McCarthy says it is important any future pipelines or offshore platforms aren't built without knowing what they might be disturbing.
That ends the Midday News. Do join us at 6 p.m. for more news and sports. Bye for now.